Okay, so have you ever had that feeling where, you're super busy all day long, but by the end of it, you haven't really gotten any closer to those bigger goals?
Oh, yeah, totally. I know that feeling.
Like you're just stuck in this cycle of like work deadlines and appointments and all this family stuff. And then it's like, well, what happened to those, like, those big dreams I had?
Yeah, it's like the daily grind just takes over and you lose sight of the bigger picture.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. We're talking about using a journal notebook to help manage those daily goals so we can actually make progress on those bigger things.
We'll be looking specifically at some of the stuff from Stallion about this. Their notebooks are specifically designed for this, so it'll be interesting to see what they have to say.
Yeah, for those listening, think of this as like fine tuning one of your most important productivity tools. A journal can bring a lot of clarity and focus to your day to day and actually give you some momentum towards those bigger goals.
And especially a journal that's like designed with goal setting in mind, like how Stallion does it.
Right. So Listallion talks a lot about the power of journaling for achieving your goals, and they really emphasize that daily aspect of it. So let's start there. Why is setting daily goals so important in their approach?
Well, they believe that daily goal setting is really the foundation for productivity and organization and even like personal growth.
Yeah.
They point out that those big ambitions we have can feel really overwhelming if we just look at the whole thing at once.
Right. It's like trying to eat an entire cake in one sitting,
Exactly. You got to break it down into smaller pieces.
bite-sized pieces.
Yeah. So they say the key is to break those big goals into smaller, actionable tasks that you can do each day. And that way you have a clear sense of purpose for today. And those bigger goals start to feel less scary and more attainable.
Makes total sense. It's like wanting to run a marathon. If you just think about the whole 26 miles, it can be really daunting. But if you just focus on running 1 mile each day, suddenly it feels doable. And before you know it, you've run the whole thing.
Exactly. It's all about those small steps.
Listallion's big on using their journal notebooks for this daily focus. But we live in a world that's gone digital. So what's so special about a physical notebook for them?
That's a great question. And Stallion argues that physical journals just offer something different than digital tools. There's something about the actual act of writing things down that helps solidify those intentions and make them feel more real.
Yeah, I can see that.
And you also have this one place where you can actually see your progress,
Yeah.
like visually track it. And Stallion journals, with their 211 numbered pages, have tons of space for that detailed daily tracking so you can really flesh out your thoughts and keep all your objectives organized.
211 pages. That's a lot of room to make things happen.
It is.
It makes you wonder about the other side of things, though, from Listallion's perspective. What are some of the things that go wrong when we don't have a dedicated system like this for managing our goals, when we're just relying on random sticky notes and different apps?
Well, one of the biggest problems Stallion points out is disorganization. You've got important tasks scribbled on sticky notes that disappear deadlines, buried in a bunch of different apps, and it's just easy to get overwhelmed and lose track of what's important.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely been there.
And then there's the whole accountability piece. If your goals aren't written down somewhere that you see regularly, they can easily slip your mind or get pushed aside by more urgent but less important tasks.
That happens all the time.
So Stallion really sees their daily goal journal as this anchor point, something you can touch base with every day to keep your progress front and center and stay motivated. And they even highlight the quality of their paper. It's 120 GSM wood-free, so it's really smooth and enjoyable to write on, which they say makes you more likely to use it consistently.
That's a good point. If it's a nice writing experience, you're going to be more inclined to pick up the pen and actually use the journal.
Exactly. It's all about making it easy and enjoyable to stick with the process.
So now let's talk about some of the specific design elements of Listallion journals. How do those features actually help with daily goal setting?
Stallion's definitely put a lot of thought into the design.
Hmm.
Even something like the faux leather cover isn't just about looking nice. It's about durability, making sure the journal can handle being used every day and really become a lasting part of your goal-setting journey.
I like that.
And then you've got the built-in table of contents, which lets you categorize your goals, maybe by different areas of your life or specific projects, so you can easily find and review your objectives. And then there's the dashed lined pages, which are great because they give you structure, but also flexibility. You can make neat lists, but you can also jot down quick notes, brainstorm ideas, even sketch diagrams without feeling restricted.
Oh, that's cool.
And even the spacing between the lines is carefully considered. It's 7.5 millimeters, which gives you enough space to write in detail, but also lets you fit a good amount on each page. And then there's the back pocket, which is super practical for storing loose notes or inspirational clippings or anything you want to keep handy. Each feature is there to make daily goal management more organized, efficient, and effective.
It sounds like they've really thought about the practicalities of using it every day, and it's not just about ticking things off a to-do list, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the bigger picture benefits Listallian associates with this kind of journaling?
Right. For them, it goes beyond just managing tasks. It's about personal growth and self-development.
Hmm.
They see it as a way to build discipline and make progress in your life by consistently writing down your goals. You're basically creating a roadmap for your aspirations,
I like that, a roadmap.
and it encourages you to be more mindful and reflect on what you're doing so you can see what's working, identify areas for improvement, and adjust your approach as you go along.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the simple act of checking off completed goals gives you a sense of accomplishment, which keeps you motivated and reinforces those positive habits. And then with those numbered pages, you can easily track your progress over time and see how far you've come.
It's like a visual reminder of all the little wins.
Exactly.
This reminds me of my cousin Sarah. She was starting her own freelance design business, and she was completely overwhelmed juggling clients and projects, and her to-do lists were just scattered everywhere on scraps of paper.
I can imagine that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, she was missing deadlines and just feeling totally swamped. And then one day, she bought herself a simple notebook. It wasn't a Listallian, but it had a similar vibe, a nice sturdy cover and lots of pages.
The essentials.
Yeah, and she started writing down her top 3 priorities for each day. And she said just having them all in one place made a huge difference. And then being able to physically cross things off gave her a real sense of accomplishment.
It's the little things.
Right, and she even started using the blank space to jot down ideas and inspiration. And she slowly started to feel more in control, and her business started to take off.
That's awesome. It really shows how even a basic notebook can make a big difference just by providing that dedicated space and structure. And Listallian takes it a step further with all those extra features that are designed to enhance the experience.
So for someone listening who's thinking, maybe I should try this, what advice does Listallian give for actually using a goal journal effectively?
Well, they recommend starting small. Maybe just focus on 3 to 5 key goals each day to begin with so you don't get overwhelmed. And they emphasize the importance of prioritizing, maybe using symbols or colors to highlight your most important tasks.
Oh, that's smart.
And they also talk about the importance of reflecting at the end of each day, taking a few minutes to review your progress. Think about any challenges you faced and what you learned.
Like a mini debrief.
Exactly. And of course, they're big on setting smart goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So you have a clear framework for defining your objectives. And they suggest using prompts to guide your journaling, like asking yourself, what's the most crucial thing I need to achieve today? Or what steps can I take today to get closer to my long-term goals?
Those are great starting points. But even with a fancy Listallian journal, it can be tough to actually stick with journaling every day. What are some of the common roadblocks people hit, and how does Listallian suggest we deal with them?
Yeah, they acknowledge that it's easy to forget to journal or feel uninspired or lose focus. And their biggest tip is to make it a routine set, a specific time each day, maybe first thing in the morning or right before bed, and just make it a habit like brushing your teeth.
I like that. Tie it to something you already do.
Exactly. And they also say, don't worry about being perfect. It's your personal space to explore. You don't need to write a masterpiece every day. And even the design of their journals helps with consistency. The cover's durable but flexible, so you can take it with you. The tons of pages. You don't have to worry about filling it up too fast. And the ribbon bookmark lets you pick up right where you left off.
The ribbon bookmark is such a small thing, but it makes such a difference.
It really does. It just removes that little bit of friction.
So how do we build that consistent journaling habit? What does Listallian say about that?
It's all about routine. Connect your journaling to something you already do every day. Like I said, maybe after your morning coffee or before you go to bed. And the way their notebooks are designed with the dashed lines and comfortable spacing makes the writing experience itself more enjoyable, so you're more likely to keep coming back to it.
Yeah, it makes sense. If it feels good, you're going to want to do it more.
Exactly. And they also recommend mixing things up. Try different journaling styles. Some days focus on tasks, some days on gratitude or brainstorming. Just keep it fresh and engaging.
So it's not just the same thing day after day.
Right. And then the numbered pages and the table of contents help you track your progress and see the results of your efforts, which can be really motivating.
So in the end, what does Listallian believe are the real benefits of sticking with this goal journaling thing?
It goes way beyond just checking things off a list.
Yep.
It's about making real progress towards your goals and achieving things that matter to you. By writing down and reviewing your goals regularly, you're creating a much clearer path to success.
Mm.
And breaking down those big ambitions into smaller daily steps makes them feel less overwhelming and allows you to make steady
So
progress.
it's like that marathon analogy again.
Exactly. And the process of reflecting each day helps you understand yourself better and figure out what strategies really work for you. And over time, Lestallion says this builds valuable skills like discipline and resilience and a growth mindset. And their high-quality paper contributes to that smoother writing experience, which makes it more likely you'll keep journaling.
This reminds me of a friend of mine, Mark. He always talked about wanting to learn a new language, but he could never seem to get past the first couple of weeks. He'd download apps, start courses, but then he'd lose steam.
It's easy to get excited at the beginning, but the hard part is sticking with it.
Totally. And then one day he decided to try something different. He bought a notebook and made a commitment to learn just 5 new vocabulary words every day and write a few sentences using them. He wasn't using a Listallion specifically, but he chose a notebook he liked writing in, and he kept it by his bed and would do his language practice first thing every morning.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah, he said writing the words and sentences down actually helped him remember them better, and seeing the pages fill up over time gave him a sense of accomplishment. There were still days he didn't feel like doing it, but because the daily commitment was so small and tangible, he was able to stay consistent, and years later, he's fluent in that language.
That's amazing. What a great example of how small, consistent actions can add up to huge results. And that's really what Listallion's philosophy is all about. Their journals are designed to support that process by giving you the structure and tools you need to stay focused and make it a habit.
So besides that core idea of daily goal setting, does Listallion have any other suggestions for how we can get the most out of a goal journal?
They have a bunch of ideas. They talk about setting daily intentions. So you're not just thinking about what you want to do, but also how you want to approach the day. And they suggest keeping your daily goals list simple and focused so you don't get bogged down.
Don't try to do too much at once.
Right. And then they recommend doing a weekly review to look back at your progress over the past week and see if there are any patterns or areas where you need to adjust your approach. And if you're a visual person, they suggest creating vision boards or mind maps in your journal to keep your bigger goals front and center.
I like that.
And using things like colored pens or stickers can help you organize and prioritize your goals. And they even highlight simple things like having a pen loop attached to your journal so you always have something to write with.
It's all about making it easy and convenient.
Exactly.
Okay, so big picture, how does Listallion see their journals fitting into this whole goal-achieving journey?
They see them as tools that are carefully designed to help you stay organized and motivated on your path to success. They emphasize the 211 pages, so you've got plenty of space, the built-in table of contents for organization, the handy back pocket, and the secure elastic band closure so you can take it anywhere. They believe their journals could be valuable for all sorts of people, from students and professionals to anyone who's serious about personal growth and achieving their dreams.
And what are their final thoughts on overcoming any last-minute hurdles we might face as we try to make this a habit?
They recommend keeping your journal visible, so it's a constant reminder, and they encourage you to make it your own, personalize it and use it as a creative outlet to make the process more enjoyable. And they really emphasize that the quality materials, the spacing, the flexibility of the pages are all there to help you have a more consistent and rewarding journaling experience.
So I think the key takeaway here is that taking the time to write down your daily goals in a well-designed notebook like the ones Listallion makes with all their cool features can be a really powerful way to cut through the noise of daily life and make real progress towards the things that matter most to you.
Absolutely. It's about being intentional with your actions and your time.
It's about connecting with your aspirations in a tangible way and making focused action and reflection a regular part of your life.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So for everyone listening, think about this. What's one small habit that if you tracked it consistently could lead to a major breakthrough for you this year? Could it be as simple as putting pen to paper each day in a dedicated journal?
It's definitely worth considering.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive today.
It was great to be here.
Until next time.
See you then.